as in a day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. And that's what's happening in America. You got all that. You got all that, man. You got all kind of rich men who live to their heart's desire. Maybe they'll go to another country where they know, and the new series on Netflix, Altered Carbon, they talked about that. They actually, now in that, you know, it was kind of wonky because you could transfer your consciousness to another body. But they actually have these so-called rich white men. They go and they'll pay to have sex with you and then kill you. They want to pay to make a snuff film with you. Or they'll pay a lot of money to get with a little kid or underage kid or woman because they're sick. They've indulged in their own hearts. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Hey, so at a certain point, man, once you finish indulging in your own heart, there's going to be a recompense for that. The Lord he's gonna have to get you back. He's gonna have to get his lick back for that one. Because the elites of this nation, they've indulged in their own hearts. That's why they've kept us out. That's why they've always kept us out, and they always will keep us out. Because that's what it's about, man. It's about that Edomite supremacy. It's about being supreme. It's about becoming a god. That's what they want to do. Be patient thereof, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. That's what we're doing. We're supposed to be doing now, establishing our hearts. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Take, my brethren, the prophets, which have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. But above all things, my brethren, swear not, neither by heaven, neither by the earth, neither by any other. But let your yea be yea, and your nay nay, lest you fall into condemnation. So that's boom. That's straight right there. No interpretation needed. No interpretation needed for that. So hey, there's going to be a day where America has to face the repercussions for the things that it's done. You agree with that? You say everybody's gonna pay? Okay. That's true. Everybody is gonna receive their just due. That is true. It's probably an Ishmaelite though. Jump in the verse 16. Confess your faults one to another and pray one to another that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. That's right. So that's why we continue to pray. We continue to pray. We continue to beg, and we continue to call upon the Father to continue to bless us. You got all kind of spiritual forces, physical forces, all kind of forces coming up against you. Mental forces, forces of wickedness coming against you, disguising themselves as other things. disguising themselves as other things. And just like that dude, he said, what? I'm neutral. I'm not conservative, liberal, I'm neutral. There's no such thing as neutral. You gotta pick a side. When you in a war, you have to pick a side. You can be with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He said what? I command that you be either cold or hot. Lukewarm will be spewed up. So you can't be neutral. You're gonna be spewed out. Nobody likes any kind of lukewarm food. You don't like that. You gotta be cold or hot. And you have to have faith too. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, things unseen. So let me get that in James. This is James 2:14. What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of food of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled, notwithstanding ye give them not those things which are needful to the body, what doth it profit? Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. So if you say you have faith, you have to commit to it. You have to make a commitment, a life commitment, a spiritual commitment. Make a commitment. Because like right now, it's kind of cold. It's that cold season. It's that flu season. Me, I kind of came down with a little something. But hell, different men of the Lord are diligent, man. They're putting up all these cures and all these different things. Oregano oil, silver, activated charcoal. You gotta get into all that stuff. If you got a virus or something, black walnut leaf. Some things work better than others for certain brothers. Water, lemon juice, and cayenne pepper. Organic lemon juice and cayenne pepper and water. That does a trick too. So hey, you gotta, because right now, you know, you got a lot of Israelites, they know the truth, but they're not necessarily committed to it. But as we keep putting up more works and more works and more works, you got more people who which they should be comfortable as it, but they become more comfortable in joining and doing the work and showing their works toward the faith. And hell, once you receive the truth, unless you're in a situation, you're supposed to commit directly to it. You know, like I was in a situation, you know, it was a little different for me. You know, I was this is my testimony. I was homeless for a little while. I had the truth, but I was homeless, and it was hell. I was moving place to place, but the Lord blessed me. The Lord kept me, and He kept His statutes on me. He kept His Holy Spirit on me. You know, hey, now I'm blessed. Now I'm out here. But there will be an end to it all. It has to be. It has to be. The kingdom of matter of fact, let me go back to Revelation. The kingdom of heaven is for the Israelites. It's not for every nation. Was that 17 he was there? Fact. Like one in the prophets, Revelation 18 and 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is becoming the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So the kings of the earth, the nations of the earth. That's why it can't be talking about, it's not talking about the Catholic Church, it's not talking about the Vatican, it's not talking about Vatican City. That doesn't make sense. It's not talking about any of that stuff. It's talking about here. Because America goes to these different countries, and they show you that with Donald Trump. He's done certain business with certain leaders from Kazakhstan. He's done certain business with leaders from Russia, certain leaders from India. He's done business with the kings of the earth. Just you can follow Donald Trump and see that. You know, Obama, he was super clean. They screw up his background completely. But Trump, you could clearly see that with Trump. So like I said, it can't be talking about Vatican City. It can't be talking about the Roman Catholic Church. It's talking about here, America. America is Mystery Babylon. She sitteth on great waters. The nations here are the waters. Hey, just to show you something, man. This dude, he been dancing for fucking, I think like 2 hours or something. Usually he's out here as soon as I get out here. I don't know if it's, well, maybe it's been like an hour or some change, but he's been dancing for an hour. So, you know, bro, he's committed. You know, but in the long term, unfortunately, dancing is not gonna help him out and get him to where he's gonna go.
Now we have a stop.
Like I was saying, America is Babylon. That's America. And every nation is drunk upon the wine of her fornication. What is the wine of her fornication? Her philosophies, different philosophies that America pushes forth. Different philosophies that America pushes forth. Democracy is a philosophy pushed forth by America. But then, you know, it's interesting. Look at the numerical system for every country in the world. They go off the metric system. You know, meters, kilometers. America, I think it's 2 countries. America, I think it's one other country. We go off our own American system. So now when they make a car or something, they got to program it just for Americans. What's up, Chief? Yeah, America, man. The wine of America. Women empowerment. That's another thing America lifts. Not really, but really. Feminism. That's another thing America uplifts. They'll sit there and talk about fair play and women treated fairly. But really, that's just something they're using to, well, they use it as a weapon. You know, they wield that as a sword. Especially in the so-called Israelite community. They uplift and empower women. And then they know the woman's gonna crack, she's not gonna have any direction to what she's doing. And that's what happened in America. You've had intelligent women, but you know, like Hidden Figures, you had those women very intelligent, very knowledgeable. But ultimately, what? They were just workers. They were pawns in Esau's game. They were dying to get in, begging to be down for Esau. And he used them for what they were. And that's what he's been doing. Hollywood. You know, Esau's been fucking these stars and starlets. And it's nothing new, and he's still doing it. He's still doing that. That's what women are for. Women are property. Women are, yes, they're second-class citizens, yes. Another thing, America, voting. In the ancient world, you didn't vote on anything. You had the monarch which made the decision. You know, you trusted under him that he was following under the orders of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for Israel. And that's what it was. America, you have the voting system. Every asshole gets to say so. It makes them feel special. But even in democracy and voting, all they do is they manipulate the minds of the people, and then they use that because that's how they know, you know, how much power they have, how much leeway they have with Satan. They use Satan and his devices. They manipulate the minds of the people, or the common, basically common Edomites, because they're the majority of America. And then they go about their business. And then certain things that they don't want people to stop or change, they've already made sure that legally, you know, they have certain parameters set up. And that's what it is. Certain executive orders we cannot vote against, we cannot go against. Even if you take the president out. Because there's an agenda behind the scenes. It's clear, it's carefully hidden and well hidden, but there is an agenda. Just like there's an agenda to keep the so-called Israelite man, the black Native Americans, Latino men, in darkness. That's why they'll go to whatever platform, whatever avenue we like, and they'll put their shit, their satanic vibration on it, and then they'll give it to us, like hip-hop, rap, hip-hop, R&B. That's what they did with that stuff. Entertainment. They used that stuff. They used our energy. They put that satanic energy into it, and then they use it to destroy us. You know, now they can make the argument: Chicago, black on black crime, crack, single mothers, because that's the wine that they put out. Scriptures talk about don't give a man wine so he becomes drunken. That's what they did to our nation. He made us drunken off the philosophies of this country. We use the sellouts and the different wicked men. We put them in power. And that's how it works. If they see you're wicked, they see you following a certain agenda, following after the plan, then they'll keep you in power. If not, they'll find some dirt on you and then you're out of there. That's how it works. They invest in certain people who become indoctrinated. Indoctrination, that's what wine is. Along with that indoctrination in America, it comes with what? Certain people, prominent figures, they have to do, like the man was saying, they have to do certain rituals. They have to sacrifice children, pass children through the fire. Bohemian Grove, right? Molech. A lot of times I've heard they had to eat defecation, blood. this place is what does the scripture say? It's laden with iniquity. Laden with iniquity. These Edomites, they'll act like nothing is wrong. What is the problem? Or they'll just walk by and they'll just, that's another thing they do. They're the devil, so they'll smirk or they'll laugh. But yeah, that's true. That's why it's a waste of time to debate them. You can talk to them to bring out some edification, but it's a waste of time to be debating different points. Look, we figured it out. We figured America out. America's been figured out. The formula of America is figured out. Okay, because if you can copy that formula and take that to another country and Americanize those people, that means what? There's a certain formula for what you're doing. But now the question becomes what? What is that formula? No, but once you become so deep entrenched in America, which is what Black, Native American, and Latino have become, we can recognize that shit instantly. We can recognize that shit very easily. Once again, in America, you have agendas set up. Agendas set up for you to do certain things, for you to be in certain places. Let the scripture speak, Salaki, I'm talking to you. This is Habakkuk 2:2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live. But the just shall live by his faith. So when you go through the scriptures and you're going through the law, statutes, and commandments, Yahweh El Shai, and you cross-reference that with the workings of America, you'll start to see and understand that America is 100% against the Bible in every way, shape, or form. That's how you know who the wicked is. That's how they figured out who Esau was. Because I would only imagine, when it was first being studied, they would have had to go and keep seeing, they would have had to read through the scriptures once, read through it again, and they would have, hey, the Spirit of the Lord is beautiful on those men, King Mashad, Ariyah. The Spirit of the Lord was beautiful on those men because they actually went through manual copies. There wasn't no blue letter. They would have had to cross-reference. Look, we keep saying Esau, we keep saying this about the wicked. This says Esau is the wicked, so now these two things go together. And they sat there through the whole Bible and boom, 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 boom. And then, certain revelations were saved for the apostle because that's where the Holy Spirit was at that time. That the revelations were still coming out. They were given to the apostle. The Cornelius situation. The rape doctrine, which there is no doctrine of rape, that's bullshit. All of that. And he's been, it's like in the previous verse is going to say, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I reprove. That's true. Those men stood upon their watch, they stood upon their tower. That's why we honor those men. Double honors unto you. Double honors. And then we seek that same honor. Of course, us being young men, we still got a lot to learn. We still got a lot of growing to still do. A lot of things we can correct, but we still seek that honor. Every Israelite man, at some point in your life, you're gonna seek, unless you're a reprobate. Every Israelite man is going to seek honor at a certain point. How y'all doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. You're going to seek that honor. Shalom. So, hey, that's the spirit again, hey. Every week he walks by. Maybe we'll speak. Maybe not. Would be nice though. This is Daniel 5. It's Daniel 5 and 5. No, this, in fact, I'm going to start from the top. This is Daniel 5. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to the 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted wine, commanded to bring the gold and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of the Most High, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver and of brass, of iron and wood and stone. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loose, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be Salaki. And shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lord, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. But just like it said, they could not read the writings. They could not understand what was going on. There is a man in the kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy God. In the days of thy father, light and understanding